Um, Greetings to all of you good people who are going to watch this video. Nicholas here from Serbia. Today I want to talk a little bit about my latest transfer from Ubuntu based operating systems to Arc based operating systems. And actually, the first thing that I tried and that we have here installed and talking about is let's see, is Manjaro Linux or Manjaro Linux. Greets, Manjaro Linux for you guys today. Small screencast and a little bit to talk about for a beginning, like for the intro. Manjaro Linux 15.12 Capella, codename Capella, 64-bit edition. Now, for all of you guys who don't know, Manjaro or Manjaro Linux is actually called a Arch Linux for the lazy because it comes with a graphical installer, live desktop environment in the ISO images. It supports both 32-bit and 64-bit distros like every other distro Linux does. It has multiple libraries and stuff. Now, the neat and the best thing about Manjaro, it actually, yes, I admit, it is really user friendly, really user friendly. Uh, by default, comes with a KDE and XFCE desktop, which I really personally prefer more is the XFCE. And in the XFCE edition here, they really did a neat thing. They made it so beautiful. It's like they have a custom to say it's an eye candy, right? It really is. It works and it looks like a charm. Now, a good thing about Arch Linux is its community driven repository AUR, um, Arch Linux user repository, right? And from that repository, you can get pretty much any piece of software from any Linux distribution ported for Arch, uh, and it's gonna work on your desktop, laptop, whatever device you have. So the best thing about Manjaro is that it has two graphical user interface package managers, and the one that I like to use by default is a PAMAC. The default text package manager is called Pacman, right? And the PAMAC is the version, the GUI version of the Pacman. And the other graphical user interface package manager that I also learned like yesterday even exists is where is it? Octopi. Now Octopi is a little bit closer to the, let's say, to Debian package manager Synaptic, a little bit closer. But what I prefer about PAMAC, and here is Mr. PAMAC here, is a lot more options. PAMAC is actually implemented in the distro, in the live distro of Manjaro by default, and it offers this nice option that I've switched on here. You can see here it says search in our or AUR Arc user repository. Now, by default, the Manjaro depositories are really well packed with the software, right? But I encourage people in general from the beginning itself when they start to use this distro. I'm gonna give my sudo password here. I'm encouraging the people to use AUR repository. Why I'm saying this? Whoever was using Linux before Manjaro and wants to try Arc-based distro um, is not gonna have too much problems switching on the AUR repository, which has tons and billions of software literally implemented inside, everything pre-compiled and set up for your package manager to grab it off the AUR, install it for you, install the necessary dependencies, and you get the thing that you want in the end, your software to work. Of course, there is also bug tracers that work automatically, So you can report a bug about certain software not being stable, etc., 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 to the Manjaro community, whatever. But really, guys from Manjaro did a nice work, and keep up the good work. So far, what I've seen, what I've tested, I've installed a bunch of software on my distro. Actually, what came with default was with default, and it was okay. But actually, I like to use a lot more software. So let's check, for example, the internet section here. I added Chromium, Dropbox, Google Chrome, great little radio players in the multimedia and the internet, right? HexChat was here by default. I added Linux DC++. I like to use this client. It's working stable, really. I have accounts on Dropbox, on Megasync. Here is Megasync. I have a pCloud drive. I like to use QBitTorrent and Deludge, so I chose for now QBitTorrent, and it's working really nice. I often use Skype, so I install it. I don't use Steam, but it's in the Manjaro by default. Mm, as an advisory for the users that have ATI or NVIDIA graphics cards, I really prefer to use the proprietary driver. And the nice thing about Manjaro Linux, I'm gonna show you now, is the settings Manjaro settings manager. It's gonna ask for your sudo password from the Manjaro settings manager. The best thing is that you can choose. Wow, you can choose your language packages, okay, you can set up your user accounts, time and date notifications, blah blah, but these two options, kernel and hardware detection, if you click on the hardware detection, it's gonna show you what you have installed by default for your graphics card, and it's gonna offer you an option: automatically install open source driver or automatically install proprietary driver. If you click on this one, it's gonna download and install the proprietary driver for your ATI or NVIDIA graphics cards, the same way the Ubuntu does. But even better here, I don't know why, but I noticed that on Manjaro Linux, proprietary drivers work more stable than on Ubuntu actually. Um, because I have, for example, a weird 25-inch LCD TV which I'm using as my monitor, and I plug it in over the HDMI output on my ATI graphics cards. And in the beginning, I had a lot of problems because the manufacturer of this TV is some sort of Chinese duplicate Dunlop, and you cannot get a list of good resolutions for it. But now with Manjaro, I got like really good resolution. Let's check what I'm display, configure screen and layout. I'm gonna show you. You see, 1776 times 1050 hertz. Wow. For me, it's more than enough. On a 25 inch, I have everything. My icons are just 28 by 28 size, and I have a large desktop working. And the next best thing on Manjaro, kernel. They offer you a choice. Actually, you can run multiple kernels on your desktop install on one machine. And for example, now I'm running the 4118 dash or slash 2, which is a long-term supported running and installed, and I'm not going to change that, but they're offering you even more options and more latest kernel. You can even choose the experimental 4.5 RC6/1, right? And it's working however you wanna put this. You can choose on the boot up which kind of kernel you're gonna drive, and even if you choose the testing kernel, the experimental one, hey, you can give a little bit of of yourself to the users online, and you can try to test something out, right? So, to all of you guys who want to transfer from Windows or from Ubuntu based distributions, I recommend Manjaro Linux. There is already they are already announcing a version 16 point something on their website, but I'm sticking to this long-term supported because I like LTS, right? I like a little bit of stability, and whoever wants to use the Arch Linux, I'm recommending to start with Manjaro, right? Um, Once again, Nicholas from Serbia. I hope you like this video a little bit. Just a small presentation for a beginning, and nothing too complicated for you guys. There will be more. If there is something, you can Google plus me with a question, and I'm gonna try to answer it to support the community a little bit myself. I'm not a computer programmer. I'm not a compiler or whatever. I don't have any super advanced knowledge about programming Linux. What I do have is, let's say, more than 7, 8 years of experience with Linux as a user. I tested more than 1,000 different distros for a long time. There was a great number of distros on my hard drives on my machines inside my house. I was dealing with the problems with different kind of problems about hardware, especially graphics cards and network interfaces, etc., etc., on Linux by myself with a little bit of help from the user community, and as a I feel as a small part of this community. If you guys have any questions about Manjaro 15.12 Capella, especially 64-bit, you can Google plus me or email me. Um, you're gonna see the link to my email on this post on Google Plus, and whoever has a question, feel free to ask while I'm available. I'm gonna try to ask in the shortest amount of time with your solution or with a little bit of friendly help. That's it for the beginning. Ciao ciao guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon.